section 4.5 is just a continuation of the previous one, except instead of having one inequality, you have a bunch. But again, the process is draw your line, shade, go to the next line, draw your line, shade. Do not draw all your lines and then do all your shading, because it's not going to be a good time. First one I'm going to do in blue here. So we'll graph the line 5x plus y equals 5. What's the x-intercept? 1. What's the y-intercept? 5. Connect them. And label this with the equation. Pick a point, any point, as long as it's clearly not on the line. And how are you going to shade? So when you answer that question, you need two parts. You need to tell me what point it is in the relationship, and also if it made it true or false. So if you say shade below, you'd be correct. And then you'd have to say, because if I pick 0, 0, 0, 0 is below the line, and 0, 0 made it true. So we shade below the line. Now we move on to the next line. What's the x-intercept for the x line? 4. Y-intercept? 8/3. 8/3 is just under 3. Equal sign, so solid. Great. Do I shade above or below? Above. Tell me why. If you pick 0, 0 again, which you totally can, 0, 0 is below the purple line. 0, 0 made it false, so we shade above the purple line. Your final answer is where they overlap. Always shade that the darkest. I'm going to make the purple line longer. There we go. So all of these points in this triangular region, it's not really triangular, but for our picture it looks like a triangle, are solutions. So anything on this portion of the purple line to where this point meets to this portion of the blue line and the black region in between, those are all answers to this system. Again, no other way of representing it than with a graph. Oh, let me label this guy. Good. I'm going to make a little indifferent face there. That's better. My equal sign wasn't working out. Alright, let's try another one. Now we have 3. Hooray! So again, pause the video, see what you can do. First one in blue. X-intercept, 12/5. Just over 2. Y-intercept, 2. Dotted line. Label. Shade. We're going to shade below. 0, 0 is below the line. 0, 0 made it true. Shade below. The next one is a special type of line, x equals -5. What type of line is that? Vertical. Since it's got an equal sign, we're going to put a solid line here. Am I shading to the left or to the right of this solid line? X equals -5. I'm going to shade to the right. 0, 0 is to the right. 0, 0 makes it true. Shade to the right. Notice these get messy very quickly. Lastly, y equals 1 is a horizontal line. Since there's no equal sign, it's dotted. Pick a point, any point. I pick 0, 0 again. 0, 0 is below. 0, 0 makes it false, so I shade above. So your final answer is where the blue, purple, and green in my picture overlap. Shade at the darkest. Notice it is this triangle right here. Hooray. One more of this type. Now this guy's got 4 inequalities. Here's the deal. When you have these two inequalities together, x and y greater than or equal to 0, that means you can just stay in the first quadrant. So remember, this is your first quadrant here, because those are the values for where x and y are non-negative. So what you're going to do is you're going to graph these two inequalities, and when you do your shading, just shade only where it lands in the first quadrant. If you did not have both of these, then you could be in any quadrant. So looking back at our previous examples, we were in any quadrant. But this one, because of these two, our final answer must be in quadrant 1. So hit pause if you want to, otherwise we'll go on. First x-intercept is 10/3. First y-intercept is 5. When I do my shading, I'm only going to stay in the first quadrant. 0, 0 makes it true. 0, 0 is below, so I shade below. Next one, x-intercept is 1.5. Y-intercept is 8. This is a squishy graphic. That's okay. I made it. 0, 0 makes it true. 0, 0 is below, so I'm only going to shade in the first quadrant. Final answer is where they overlap. It's very tiny, but it's this region right here. Well, that's pretty. I did a good job. A+. Yay. So these guys right here save you some time, which is very nice.